Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a good weekend. Let's go ahead and open it up to questions. Anything goes. You can unmute yourself or type in, fire away.
And then go ahead, Troy and Tracy.
Hey, Troy.
Oh, there you go.
Hey there.
Hey, I'm going to see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see
Yeah,
y'all.
me too.
I have two questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, fire away.
Okay. One, I've been noticing on and off for the last couple weeks to maybe even months, just like feeling kind of sore and achy in the joints.
Is it just in the joints, or are you feeling sore like in the muscles or even like close to the skin?
I haven't really noticed that so much.
Okay, so just in the joints. Well, I mean, I know you've been struggling with like the cedar allergies and stuff. And it's not necessarily part of the allergic response, but the allergic response can cause a lot of inflammation and things in the body, and so it could be just like a step of the allergy stuff. And so basically it's just like the lymphatic system can get a little backed up. And I mean, the first place you usually feel it is like in the joints, and then you start to feel it in the tissues, and then it almost even feels like the skin itself. And so I would do things that are helpful lymphatically. Lymphatic blend, things like Bayloral, but also are you using Monarda or Monarda Complex or Melissa or anything like that?
I just ordered a bottle of Melissa.
Okay.
I haven't been using them though until I just got this.
Okay, so all like the Monarda Complex, the Melissa, all of them help to stimulate the lymphatic circulation to a little bit higher degree. And the reason they're not necessarily lymphatic stimulants unto themselves. I mean, they are a bit, but they're also very good like nervines. And a lot of the nervines also help stimulate lymphatic movement. And so I would go like with one of those two, the Monarda Complex, Melissa. And if you don't have one of those on hand, I mean, I'd even start taking like a couple of drops of like helichrysum internally and just get the lymph moving, and then also treat it topically. And one of the areas that gets impacted pretty heavily is the gut. And so, be sure to apply some of that to the gut. And for that, you could even augment by taking a little bit of Bayloral internally, but the helichrysum should get it going. But yeah, so support it topically and then also do something internally. Because like what happens is, the lymph just gets really kind of stagnant, but it also goes hand in hand with nerve function, autonomic function. And so there just starts to be a little bit of an imbalance in the autonomic system. And so you could also take some lemongrass or some anise, but I think if you just stimulate the movement, you should be good. You're in the earlier stages of the congestion. And so I would just treat it as circulation and just let it be, unless it doesn't resolve itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I have
like anytime you feel achiness, though, any sort of achiness, even like with a fever, it's lymphatic congestion. So just do whatever version of like whatever oils you have on hand just to get the lymph moving. But some of that also is things that help balance out the nervous system. Lemongrass, anise, marjoram, tarragon, any of those, they balance out the autonomic nervous system enough to where it really starts to get the lymph moving.
Okay. Thank you. I'll give that a shot. The other thing is I've been noticing sensation in the left side of my head. It feels like superficial. And it's just kind of seems like it's just been there on and
Like what,
off for a while.
what part of your head?
So, left side.
Like just the whole side
jaw.
like this?
Yeah, so like from like the temple down to the jaw, all across like the left side towards the back, and occasionally I'll feel it like kind of on top of that side too.
Okay. And headaches at all?
No.
Grinding your teeth?
Say that again?
Are you grinding your teeth, especially at night?
I think I must be.
Yeah, it sounds like it's potentially like a side effect of grinding your teeth, or like it might not even be grinding, it could just be clenching. And so again, I would go back to the lemongrass, the anise, the tarragon, the marjoram, and again internal. But I would take like the marjoram and like rub it into the temple, rub it in around the ear and all the way around the base of the skull. I would even rub it a little bit into the jaw, like in front of the ear, like right in that area.
Okay.
The temple plays a much bigger role in our jaw than we realize. And so a lot of times when we feel like tension up in that area, a lot of it is either coming from this spot right here, like where the neck and shoulder join, or from the jaw itself. So, hit that spot, hit all the areas that are being impacted and see if that unwinds that. But that should undo it.
Okay, great.
Something
Thank you so much.
antispasmodic, something that's again soothing to the nerves, and they're probably both the same issue, the achy joints and the side of the head. So it's probably all the same issue.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll give that a shot. Thank you so much.
Let us know if like in a couple of days you're not feeling better.
Okay, will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
And then go ahead, Tracy, then Jennifer.
Hey,
Hi,
Miss
Patty.
Tracy. Hey.
So I have two questions.
Mhm.
First one, so you had told me because of the allergies and the wheezing and stuff to do the Greenland moss. Like I've got all the things, I'm doing all the things that you told me.
Mhm.
But I also had my favorite little hound dog was 6.5 and she died while we
Oh,
were,
I'm sorry to hear that.
thank you, while we were on the plane coming home from Barcelona. And because I've been just crying uncontrollably,
Yeah.
it's making everything worse. Like I'm
Yeah.
getting coughing. And is it treated the same way? It's just, it's not it doesn't make a difference, does it? It's
No.
okay.
I mean, you're talking about the difference between if it was a person or the dog?
No,
Is that what
no, the difference between just what I've the asthma related to the smoke of the fire and stuff versus
Oh, I see.
what's happening because of the grief and the crying, which turns into mucus, which turns into
Sometimes asthma that is a little bit more emotional in origin responds a little bit better sometimes to things like helichrysum, spikenard, mandarin, neroli,
okay.
things like that. They're antispasmodic, but they're psychologically or emotionally kind of nurturing. You know what I mean? It's you can really tell when the grief is impacting the respiratory tract. You can get asthma, but you'll get like it feels like a lump in your throat.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, so that's in Chinese medicine, I think they call that like plum chi or something, but it's basically a byproduct of grief. Like, it's part of the grieving thing. And so I would treat it also a little bit like grief. Like
I'm using the
Gin-
grief and sadness.
Yeah, sadness and grief, ginger lily,
Yep, doing that.
rose, any of those are really super helpful for that.
With the for the spikenard, would that be internal or just
No, just inhale. Yeah, just inhale.
the
You can
helichrysum?
always rub it on the chest, but a lot of inhalation.
Okay, but the helichrysum would be internal, right?
You could, but still a lot of inhalation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that was my
Sorry
first-
to hear that too, by the way.
Yeah, they think it was cancer and a tumor that just burst because she was it just happened. It was happened really
Yeah.
quick. So tragic. Anyway.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, we love those little critters, and when they pass, it can be very hard sometimes.
Yeah, and then I feel bad because I'm thinking, why was it her? Why wasn't it one of the older ones? I'm like, oh, I feel like a bad human right now. But
Right.
so my second question, I'm going to have rotator cuff surgery on my
Oh
right.
wow. Okay.
I have a tear that has cut the tendon completely on my supraspinatus,
Okay.
and it's rolling back. And I asked the doctor, I'm like, well, if he's like, so if has got more fatty in it, and it's basically, if it's too far gone as far as the suppleness of the muscle, then there might not be, he has to do something extra. And so I'm thinking that if I work on it with fascial release and
Okay, so let's hold on just like right there. So it's completely torn, or it's a partial tear, and it's the tendon tearing away from the bone,
yeah, it's completely torn. So,
completely taken off from the bone.
yeah, and it's
Oh.
rolling back towards my
Yeah.
neck, like.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if I keep it moving, at least it might help it when he gets in there, that he might be able to manipulate a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, if it's completely torn, I mean, if that's accurate, movement's not really going to do a lot. Just keep blood flow going to the area. So put like things like black pepper on it, but the thing to take internally is Schizandra.
Okay, I've been doing that.
Like bump up the Schizandra. It's very hydrating to the tissue, very good for like reducing like fascial lesions, but especially like in the tendon. Like in Chinese medicine, boy, this is me like quote Chinese medicine, and it's not even my thing. But in Chinese medicine, they use it to help build tendon. They like if you were to have like a tear, but it wasn't torn away from the bone, it's what you would use. Or if you had like a strain or a sprain, or a really bad type of tendonitis or something. So I would take the Schizandra internally. I would put black pepper on it, but I would also probably rotate the black pepper with helichrysum. Like I would go back and forth, and the helichrysum unwinds the fascia a bit. It will still be kind of hydrating to the tissue. It will keep the blood moving in all the area. I think if you just rotate those two with the Schizandra internally, it could be helpful. And then just a couple days before the surgery, stop taking everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how often and how much of the
Schizandra at least a couple of times a day, and the other stuff you put on as much as you want.
Okay, so just a couple of drops a couple of times a day.
Like I'd probably do 3 twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I keep doing the Pau d'Arco and all the stuff for the?
I would. Yeah, I would, just because you're having that respiratory stuff, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hard to gauge if things are, because you had the big sad thing happen, so it's hard to gauge how well it's working, but doesn't hurt maintaining some respiratory health, especially for the time of year that it is. So, I wouldn't buy another bottle of the Pau d'Arco. We were doing that more for the exposure to the smoke in your neck of the woods. And once you're done, I doubt you need to buy more.
Well, the good thing is that the air quality has gotten, they've put it 80% out. So
Oh, good.
yeah, so we came back from a dirty city to a cleaner air. So, sorry if anybody's from Barcelona, but
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Well, good. I hope besides the puppy dog, I hope you had a good trip.
Pickpocketed the first night, lost my iPhone. It was, I've never been in a place where I felt so unwelcome. I'm not kidding. Like doors
It
wouldn't
was a
open.
karma vacation. Why didn't you say it was?
It was karma.
Happened when you go on vacation. It was a karma trip.
I must have done some really bad stuff in Catalonia in my day.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's ridiculous.
My first, when I went to the reservation the first time, I talked my way into it. I didn't know anybody. The first 15 minutes I was there, somebody stole all my money. Oh, I was like, this is going to be awesome. Gonna be here for 2 months and I have no money to my name.
I got locked in the Airbnb on the inside.
Oh,
I
nice.
couldn't get it open for no amount of money. So one day I just stayed in the Airbnb the whole day.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was crazy. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Go ahead, Jennifer, then Robert.
Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
Hi, good. Well, I just have to first start out by thanking all of you just intensely. I don't know if you got a chance to see my email I sent, but I'm referring to Aiden. He has.
Oh yeah, I did get a chance to read that. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So all of his, I was just thrilled to see his blood work, everything just seemed to significantly get better this past month.
Remind me, because we fired through about 40 emails and I've been writing for the last several days, so my brain's a little mush right now. So remind me. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the one who.
Well, I remember that, but what did the test say? I remember she read them to me, but I can't remember what they said.
Yeah. So his red blood cell count, his hemoglobin, his hematocrit, and a couple others all went up dramatically for the month, and that he's been on the frankincense and the myrrh and taking the cistus. And then his white blood cells are a little bit under range. They're 3.77 and they should be at least above 4.5. So that was the only thing left in that area that probably still needs to be addressed. But I just have to tell you, his spine, the x-rays aren't showing it yet, but his body is looking so much more in alignment. And
good.
And all of his therapies are really starting to click and come together, and he's beginning to break through emotional stored emotions within him and just breathe through them and just release. I feel like he's releasing so many thought forms, and he's able to
Good.
really nicely.
It makes sense, because if you think about it, we're with the three wise men, which is frankincense and myrrh. I don't know if you're using the blend or you're just mixing frankincense and myrrh together, but it's basically the same thing.
We're just using the separate ones.
Right. So the reason to use those is to jumpstart the endocrine system. They're anti-inflammatory. They stimulate cerebral spinal fluid circulation. But also part of our mental processes is really more the endocrine system functioning through the nervous system than it is, some psychological thing. A lot of what we think of as thoughts is endocrine function. And so that that he's processing things, that there's like shifts in mood and things like that, all of that is reflective of really stimulating the endocrine function. And that combination is good for pain and for inflammation. I mean, it's good for a lot of different things. And it's a really simple combination, but it's very, very powerful. It has a big impact on the hypothalamus, and so the one issue that he's still having was, what was it? White blood cell count was down.
Yeah, white blood cell count is down, and we don't know where his testosterone is. He hasn't been retested for that, but we're going back at the end of February. I would insist that she run another test before we do anything, because I don't want him to be on any type of extra hormones. He's been off the growth hormone ever since December, like the beginning of December, because we can't even get a hold of it, which is actually, I think, a blessing.
Yeah.
And he's improving.
Right. And so the issue is why he was taking the human growth hormone.
Because he just turned 20 yesterday, and he was not growing at all. And
okay.
In high school, he looked like he was still in the beginnings of middle school.
Okay.
And so he's taken a couple years off from going to college, because we've been trying to figure this stuff out. And he's a little bit above me now. He's about 5'5", but we want to get, he might, or maybe a little bit shy of 5'5". We want to get a couple more inches out of him just to help him out, because he should be a little bit taller.
Okay.
It's just that, we've got the spine is starting to straighten.
Right.
He's starting to balance out with his hormones. We don't want to go the testosterone route. We just want to keep going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think we're making some really excellent progress. He's working with a chiropractor, and she's doing releases on him. And he's going to the massage therapist, and she does all sorts of techniques with him every single week. So,
okay.
And the physical therapist too. So we're like,
yeah, he's getting a good work over.
Where we are totally, we're determined. Like come the fall, he's going out to Denver, and we're like, we got to put them all back together.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I would like to still try to bump up his white blood cell count. And so the way to do that quickly is to utilize German chamomile, and probably just 2 or 3 drops a day, having do it daily for maybe two weeks, and then stop, and then just take a week off, and then do 2 weeks again.
Okay.
After that, he probably won't. Yeah.
Okay.
He probably won't need it after that. It's what, almost a point off.
Okay.
That should be enough. Unless there's some big thing, because here's the thing with the German chamomile. It will stimulate the production of white blood cells, but the other thing that's really great is it cleans up a bunch of the metabolic debris that can happen, that is precursors to inflammation, or a byproduct of an infection, or just if the body's been toxic. It's a very good metabolic janitor, you could call it. And so it would kind of clean things up a little bit. I don't know that he needs tons of that, but that his white blood cell count is a little low. There's probably got to be a little bit of some cleanup there. And then after that, once it stabilizes, I'm with you. I'd step back and just see if it can be maintained and everything. I mean, I think the frankincense and myrrh, he's probably going to be doing that for a while. But
Okay.
I mean, we could do that the rest of his life and he'd be fine. You know, it's a thing that I take all the time. You know, I take it quite a bit. And I mean,
I've actually been taking some of the frankincense myself because
yeah, it feels good. I mean,
hugely helpful.
yeah. So I mean, I love that he's making that kind of progress and everything. I would just keep doing it. Like, I don't think you need to really change anything. I would just keep doing what you're doing. I don't think you need to increase dosages. The thing that I would just add is German chamomile for a little bit. And then after that, when the white blood cell count regulates, then I would keep it handy. And anytime he got sick, I would, you know, either treat it during or after with the German chamomile, just to clean the blood in the body up a bit and keep the blood cell count, you know, at a good place. But other than
Okay.
that, you know, the big primary thing is that frankincense and myrrh.
Okay.
And
He's
like,
taking the he's taking
what's,
the frankincense and myrrh like 6 to 7 drops a couple times a day.
okay, yeah,
And then the,
7-8
the-
drops. I mean, if how big is he? He's like maybe 120 pounds, maybe, or something.
Yep. He's pretty much my body size. Poor guy.
Okay, so like 8 drops twice a day is good. I mean, if we needed to, we could bump it up more, but I'd rather see it be consistent than a big dosage and spike and then drop off. So
Okay.
yeah, consistency is better.
And he's still doing the cystos. He puts it on his temple. I mean, up
Oh,
above
good.
his eyebrows, and he takes a couple drops. A little bit before he takes the frankincense.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Good.
I'm so thrilled.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I feel so freed. So
I bet, you know, especially like at his age, the more we can keep him off hormones, the better. You know, later in life, that's another ball of wax. But at this age, you know, it will affect his thoughts and his behaviors, and you know, it'll start to affect him socially. And so that we're doing this at this point, before he goes to college and everything, I think that's perfect timing.
yeah, it's awesome. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Yeah. So can I ask just one other
Yeah,
question
of
too?
course. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious. I want to see if there's anything I can do for my own eyesight. I've always, so since college, I've always had, I noticed when I was in college, I used to have 20/20 vision. And then when I was in college, it decreased slightly. So I need glasses for like driving for distance.
Sure.
And I've noticed as I've gotten older, it started to get a little bit where I used to be able to drive like during the daytime, no problem without glasses, but now
Mhm.
I have to have them on at night. And I know it's probably a function of something. I just don't know what. And I would like to possibly do something to help support myself and help myself see the best I could possibly see.
Okay, and let me ask you just a few questions. So the eyesight has gotten a little bit worse just over a period of time. Are your eyes dry?
No.
Okay,
Mhm.
so not dry eyes, and I can't remember. Are you spending a lot of time doing meditation?
I do. Yeah, I do meditate a lot.
What kind of meditation? What kind of meditation are you doing?
I do a lot of the meditation is Kundalini associated, like
Oh yeah,
chanting,
okay, yeah, your Yogi Bhajan, yeah, the bhajans.
and I also do a lot of
That's right.
the Astara meditations too. I started just in the past year that I started with you, and that has been so helpful. So a combination of both. Yeah,
So are you a little bit clairvoyant or not at all?
very much so. And
Okay.
I actually
So-
noticed that I thrive not being able to see,
Yeah.
but I would love being able to.
I hear you.
I would love to drive and like watch my kids play hockey and not have to put my glasses on.
So the reason why I went down the weird road of which I don't normally do, but with the meditation and the clairvoyance and everything is like sometimes the eye issue is congestion, like etheric congestion. And so one of the things that you can do is just like take your hands like so. You know, there's not really an oil that will kind of do this, but like just fingers together and just kind of like you're kind of wiping your eyes, but you're not touching your eyes. And just
Okay.
like just kind of keep doing that for like just real slow.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, just keep doing that. Like do that for maybe about a minute or two right now. Let's just see what happens.
Okay. I can feel it.
Yeah, and then like now look around with your eyes right now. Did the sight improve a little bit?
Yeah, I can feel like some
Yeah.
activation going on. Like I can feel like my eyes wanting to work a little bit more.
So
If that makes sense.
the thing that happens, like sometimes, like it happens with clairvoyance, it happens with certain kinds of meditation. Not so much with the Yogi Bhajan stuff that I have experienced with people, but you never know. Like just doing meditation can do it. But it's just like the more that the eyes get congested, this isn't for everybody, but just like certain kinds of things, especially if you like look at things clairvoyantly a lot, the tendency is the eyes get congested and then it actually starts to affect the vision. And so like, for example, if I'm doing production and I'm bottling stuff, my eyesight's fine. But if I start doing like work where I'm needing to look at things and be a little bit clairvoyant for a little bit and everything, I start having a hard time like seeing like changes in the floor, and I have to be careful where I walk, and you know, I kind of don't even like drive when I get like that because my sight will change so much. And so
Okay.
the just cleaning the eyes from time to time, it all goes away. Like it's when I was trained as a clairvoyant, that was one of the big things is you had to constantly clean your eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can
So-
actually feel it on the crown of my head. Like
Yeah.
I can feel the opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do that as much as you want, but usually once a day is probably enough. Like sometimes if I've like spent a bunch of time looking and then I'm done, I'll just sit and just clean it off right then and there and then call it good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give
I
it a
think
try.
that's your
Thank
issue.
you.
I don't think you need supplements or anything. I just think you need to clean your eyes from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Thank you so much.
You're so
And
welcome.
so grateful for all the help. It's been
Oh, thank you.
hugely,
Thank you.
enormously helpful. I've been searching for so long to help Aiden, and it's just been such a relief. So
Glad he's doing so well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's time.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I'm glad we're getting some results.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
You're
And
so
thank you
welcome.
so much for the tips. Okay.
And then go ahead, Deborah, then Romy.
Hey, Deborah.
Hey there.
Hey.
So it's interesting. She was talking about the dry eyes. I've been having that issue more and more. I tried this.
Dry eyes or
Yes.
okay.
I've been I tried the sweeping just now. That I didn't feel any relief, but I'm not clairvoyant. I'm clairaudient, so
Yeah, it would be like most times the eyes, they're dry. She didn't have dry eyes, but she was having the vision fluctuations, and so that can be the congestion. Most people, I would say, um, uh, taking Shazandra internally can be helpful, and then inhaling cinnamon. And you don't have to direct it to your eyes, just inhale the cinnamon to jumpstart the body. And
Uh-huh.
because the cinnamon is like a all system stimulant, like it jumpstarts all the different systems in the body. And so one of the things that it does is it stimulates the processes that help to moisturize mucous membranes and things like this. And the eyes would be part of it. And so anytime you have an eye issue, the very first thing you look at is how hydrated are the eyes? Because if the eyes lose hydration, they start to degenerate at a much more rapid rate. So we tend to start drying out, our mucous membranes start drying out a little bit as we kind of hit like maybe our 30s or so. And then it just kind of progressively keeps getting worse. And then it depends on environment and things like this. Like, you being down in Florida, you have a lot more moisture in the air. So, maybe not as bad as if you lived like in the high desert or something. The high desert is really bad. Like that mechanism is really bad. But try the Shazandra at night. You could do it twice a day, but I would just do it like maybe 3-4 drops at night. And then in the morning, wake up and inhale the cinnamon. And over a period of time, that should improve the eyes, or at least stop it where it's at. Like it will make them more moisturized and like less itchy and things like that.
okay. I'm taking a herb from the acupuncturist that has the Shazandra in it, and I take that twice a day.
Yeah, I'd still bump it a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When I had the eye exam and Nation, I didn't even realize it was dry eyes, but the optometrist pointed it out to me, and she said she's now has to keep an. I have to go back in 6 months because there is a dark spot near my retina that's new. That could
What
be
is it? What's that mean?
She didn't explain it any more than that. I've had something similar that was highly rare in a very stressful situation. So I'm thinking maybe it's that as well. So I'm hoping in 6 months it'll have disappeared. But I'm sure the dry eye is not helping that too. But I don't know. But
it's like when you're inhaling the cinnamon, let's have you put your awareness on the ajna, that area between your eyebrows. Let's ramp it up a little bit.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. And you would do the inhaling like a round of like 8 or so inhalations.
Oh, I'd probably go big. Like I'd go like 25 times or something.
Okay, and then any particular time of day, like morning, night?
I would probably do morning, just because it would also benefit like jump starting your body for the day and just helping the processes of the day.
Yeah. Okay.
And
like
so like I do, Shazandra at night and cinnamon right off the bat in the morning.
Great. So I have a couple of other curiosity questions, which are, I bought the Spikenard Extra, and when Letty had talked about you were having the connection, the Wi-Fi problem, so I didn't get to follow up with the.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she described a problem that I've been dealing with for a really long time, and you had suggested a couple of other. Well, I mean, I've been going to the acupuncturist and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never really worked on the front part of my chest. And you had talked about that with her.
Yes.
So I started applying the Spikenard Extra and massaging it on the front
Mhm.
and on the top and on the back, getting on the shoulder blade. And it's really making a difference. So my curiosity is it the massaging or what is in Spikenard Extra? What
So
is it?
yeah, so it's spikenard and it's, let me look it up, but I want to say it's a bunch of like mandarin and it's made to be an antispasmodic.
Is it a coincidence or is it really
No.
appropriate that I'm using it in that area?
I originally made it for neck and shoulder issue.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so I'll tell you exactly what's in it though.
So my intuition is leading me in
Yeah,
the right
you
direction.
nailed it. Yeah, good job. Spikenard.
Because it's been, I mean, it's just, there's some days when all I can think about is how much my shoulder and everything hurts.
Yeah, I hate those days. Yeah, I have those too. Like if I stay on my routine, I don't have them too often, but if I fall off my routine, it happens. Okay,
What's it-
so it's spikenard, it's clary sage, Roman chamomile, mandarin petitgrain, and then mandarin.
Mandarin,
Petitgrain, and then
Petitgrain.
yeah. Basically, mandarin petitgrain is leaves. So you have the mandarin from the peel, mandarin from the leaves, chamomile, which is a antispasmodic, clary sage is a antispasmodic and a nervine. Spikenard is very good, antispasmodic, nervine. And the thing that's good about spikenard is, sometimes when we have like overuse issues or when there's something's been inflamed for a while, it creates like a bit of a muscle imbalance where the muscle the area where there's inflammation loses its tone, and so the muscles that oppose that area go into spasm. Then when the inflammation goes away, your body just goes, we're going to be in spasm. It doesn't balance out. And spikenard, valerian, and vetiver all balance out the muscle tissues. So if there's like a muscle imbalance, and like with your cycling, easy to have a muscle imbalance because you use the front part of your legs very differently than the back part of your legs. And so one of the remedies for that even could be putting spikenard like on the legs, or spikenard extra or vetiver or something of that nature. But anytime where there's a muscle imbalance that's due to like an overuse syndrome or like inflammation or inflammatory syndrome is usually when I use spikenard extra. Yeah, I think, didn't we originally make that for your shoulder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made it originally for Samantha's, like she injured like kind of got hit in the head and the neck like many years ago. And she would just have this syndrome pop up. And so I'd been making spikenard extra for a very long time, but we just fine-tuned it a little bit for her issue, and it was working so good. I started using it on myself, and then it just escalated where we started using it on other people, and I was like, I like this new formula. And so yeah.
Well, this actually, the whole problem with my neck started long before I was even doing a lot of cycling.
Mhm.
I was one of those people that turned my whole body instead of my head. And I never.
Yeah, that's a neck issue, neck and shoulder. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
neck and shoulder big time.
Yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize I did it because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
and the weight
that's
stopped me.
usually either the upper trapezius or the levator scapula. It's usually one or the other.
Yeah. Well, I've broken
Yeah.
free from that, and now your Miracle Spikenard Extra is my new
Good,
favorite.
good. Yeah.
One more curiosity question here.
Sure.
Actually, I have two. One is, you mentioned at the last Q&A about Artemisia that it was a type of mugwort, that it
Yeah.
comes from Nepal. What would be the difference in why you would use it over the other? And I'll tell you, I see colors when I inhale the different oils. And when I inhale that one, I see green.
Oh, nice. So like for the most part, the Artemisia, which is just mugwort from Nepal, and then the mugwort that we call mugwort is out of Morocco. And so there's an altitude difference. There's a difference in smell. Sometimes people prefer one over the other just because of the smell. Pretty much the properties are the same. The only thing that where they kind of differentiate a little bit is in the sleep class. If you remember, we do the REM, non-REM, and one does REM, one does non-REM. I never really treat that just by itself. I always treat that with both oils. And so in that particular case, you would actually use both oils and just kind of go back and forth between the two of them. And it helps to stimulate and regulate that REM mechanism. And so that would be the only time that you need to do both. But for the most part, they're interchangeable.
Okay. Good to know. And then here, I was real excited about one of the Q&As, you talked about frankincense. I actually have the frankincense premium, and I'm guessing it just, like you've mentioned before, it's a lot of different frankincense that have been brought together.
It's the frankincense Oman, which is what some people call sacred frankincense. It's the premium frankincense. It's the normal frankincense. It's the frankincense vital or vital. The golden frankincense, frankincense Sarada, and there's one more frankincense in there. I can't remember.
I just want to clarify, you're talking frankincense supreme. She has
Supreme, sorry.
Yes, the supreme you have. Okay, just
Oh,
make sure,
okay.
because we do have frankincense premium.
Oh,
as
gotcha.
well,
Gotcha.
Which is just a very fancy.
Right.
frankincense.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have to double check that, but yeah, I'm really bad at not getting knowing exactly.
Yeah, the
Um,
supreme is all of them. The premium is basically like the normal frankincense, but it's distilled a couple of different ways, like at different heats, so that they can grab more of the high end and the low end notes of the frankincense. And so it's a slightly different distillation process. And so that's why it's premium. It's really just like normal frankincense, but because of the different kinds of distillation, they're able to grab more of the notes. And so
Oh yeah, I have the premium.
yeah, so that's the fancy frankincense. Yeah.
Okay, so that's just the one that's been distilled
Yeah.
a little bit better, more thoroughly, so you get a stronger,
Mhm.
stronger, basically.
Right.
So my question is, I was using it on my face and really enjoying what that was doing to the texture of my skin, because you'd mentioned it was really great with wrinkles and being a little, getting older.
Sure.
Hurts to get rid of some of those. But suddenly one day, about a week ago, I got like an irritation all over my face, and then it began to kind of get crusty and flake off, and I'm still working through that. But I was wondering if maybe I had the spikenard on my fingers and mixed it with the frankincense. Would that have caused it? I've never had that reaction.
Yeah,
before.
I wouldn't think so. Are you putting the frankincense in a carrier, or you're just putting it on straight?
I put it on straight. But
Maybe,
I don't apply much.
yeah, like maybe I mean, it should be okay that way, but like sometimes if you're getting a little bit of irritation, take like just like a little dollop of aloe vera, like the gel,
Uh-huh.
and like kind of flatten it out and then put like, you know, your drop or two of frankincense and then kind of mix it and then go like that and just rub it on. And it's a way to kind of diffuse it a little bit, and you'll still get all the frankincense, but it also just doesn't irritate the skin quite as quickly. You know,
Okay.
sometimes what can happen is you could be fine with something, but then have a little bit of a like a sensitizing like reaction to something, and there's kind of no rhyme or reason for it. It can just happen. You know, can happen even if it's an anointment or something. And so, you know, sometimes if you take a break for a day or two and then go back to it, it can be fine, or to add a little bit of a carrier to it.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds
So,
good.
yeah, so just try that. The
Great.
Spectrum Extra should be fine. I mean, you could put that on your face. It shouldn't irritate your face. So,
All right.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're so welcome.
Love seeing you guys.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Take care.
Take care.
And then go ahead, Romy, then Barbara.
Hey, Romy.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, hey.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, what can I use for kidneys to detoxify them?
And so what's going on with them? Are you just having like fluid retention, or is like function going down, or?
No, I have stage 4 kidney disease, and they say my kidneys are really bad, but my hemoglobin was really low too. So that's going up. Every Thursday I go get a shot of Procrete or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, Procrit.
And
Yeah.
and it's been going up slowly, but I've been getting infusions of iron too, because I'm
Yeah, I was gonna say
low.
that Procrit's more for your red blood cell count. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but my kidneys, they're going up slowly, like very, very tiny, but I'm not doing dialysis because they're waiting until I really, really need to.
Okay.
So
So this is what I would do. Like if I was in your position, I don't know that I'd go hard with essential oils specifically for the kidney. I would probably go with there's a mushroom called cordyceps, and she's going to type it out for you in the chat. But I would actually go online and get the cordyceps, and honestly, I would get the powder instead of the capsules, just because it reduced costs quite substantially. And you're going to
Okay.
want to take about 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day. And so, you know, if you get capsules, that's going to be about 6 capsules a day. But if you get the powder, it's like a little, like half a teaspoonful, and, you know, put it in your tea or your coffee, or I just put it in my mouth and then wash it down with something, you know. And we'll
Mhm.
put on a link to a company that we feel that has like a good, strong version of cordyceps.
Okay.
And so, you know, because not all of the mushrooms are equal in the health food store. Some of them are, you know, they are too far away from the mother mycelia, basically. Like, so every 4 or 5 batches, you kind of have to start with a new like host mushroom. And so
Okay.
I would do that, and it will strengthen the kidney. It will be easy on the kidney to process. You know, we want to put things in there that makes the kidneys work a lot harder. And so mushrooms are really well tolerated by the kidneys. And cordyceps is used specifically for some kidney issues, some respiratory issues. It strengthens the heart. It's actually even what gets used in kidney transplants, which,
Right.
you know, you don't want to do anything too stimulating during a transplant, but the cordyceps can actually be well tolerated by somebody with a transplant while improving function. And there was actually studies done on it, you know, 30, 40 years ago. And it's a good solid way to improve kidney function without doing things that are hard on the kidneys.
Okay,
Yeah, that's where I would go with that.
okay.
So
Yeah,
3,000 to 4,000 milligrams a day.
okay. No, because Peggy was telling me to do drink hot water too. So
Yeah, water is
to
good.
help that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
All
just
right.
add the cordyceps to your hot water. And there you go.
okay, good. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Good hearing from you.
All righty.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Sonia.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there.
Hey.
I'm starting to feel like my body's in overdrive all the time. Like just
Overdrive. Okay.
like energy that is not so comfortable.
Like, give me an example, like a couple symptoms.
Heart not exactly racy, but like a lot of energy in the heart chakra. A lot of energy when I wake up. It's hard to express it as symptoms, but my blood pressure's gone up 10 points over the last couple months.
Which is where is it at?
It's now 150 over something where it was 130, 140.
And does the doctor have you on meds for that, or?
Probably after our consult tomorrow. I haven't been.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like it's been increasing the last few months. And I feel like I wake up with.
And what about the racing heart that pops up from time to time? How's that been?
Only a couple episodes, one after a dream and one after shoveling. But the heart rate's been better.
Heart rate's better, but your blood pressure's up a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it feels like it's on an upward path, and it just.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's several different things that can cause blood pressure. And so the very first thing that usually gets explored is just to reduce fluid volume. You know, you use diuretics and things like this. Are you having any swelling in your feet or legs, ankles, anything like that?
Only in the hot summer, not currently.
Not in the wintertime.
Generally not.
Okay.
And I'm careful with sodium.
Okay, so you're good with the sodium. You don't have a lot of fluid retention. So one of the
Almost
areas
feels like it's a nervous energy response kind of thing. Like just something kicks it off and it doesn't shut off.
Okay,
I can just think about it and it feels like it goes up.
and it starts to elevate a little bit.
That's my sense, which
How about brain function? Like, do you feel a little fuzzy, a little foggy, a little sluggish in the mind?
no, occasionally I might forget what I was about to do, but otherwise not at all.
Okay.
Blood work in October was normal except for elevated cholesterol. They didn't check a thyroid, but everything else was fine.
I'm gonna look something up here real quick. I'm thinking something, but I just want to validate it before I say it.
I sometimes feel like when I wake up, I'm still in some kind of response to a dream or whatever was going on last night, which sounds a little out there, but that's my sense of the morning. But it can happen any time of day, like right now.
Like, you're gonna have to use your imagination with this. Like, so when you're looking at the things like the dream, is it potentially like, and this doesn't necessarily mean physical, but is it potentially like pain related? Like physical pain, psychological pain, social pain? Like there's just like, that might hurt, or this might be embarrassing, or this might blow up, or that kind of stuff?
I don't have that sense.
Okay. So give me an idea, what, like when the dreams, what's happening with the dream?
Helping with the dream.
Is it just like you're coming out of the dream state, or is it like you have like a really intense dream and it's happening?
I think it's coming out of that state in general.
Okay.
Occasionally there's maybe a dream where I might have been like a chase scene or upset or something, but it's more just the sense of coming out of that state.
You have jasmine?
I do not. Or maybe a little tiny bottle somewhere.
I bet you have a little bottle somewhere in one of the kits. We can maybe look up to see which kit it's in or something, but you know, Lang Lang might work, but I think jasmine's a better choice here. Jasmine can treat blood pressure issues, and jasmine is a little bit more fortifying to the body and to the nerves than we give it credit for, or at least that I give it credit for sometimes. And I think in this particular case, it might be the thing that kind of helps.
Okay.
You know, it has a very strong physical impact, but it also, you know, that you're having it in dreams, like this is just my reasoning, right? Is that, you know, it could be the dream state, it could be that you're processing something, it could be something specific, you know, or that you're just processing in general, right? But regardless of which piece that is, like jasmine can be helpful with some of that. And it's almost like it takes like the edge off of the processing and makes it a little bit more playful or less intense, while fortifying the body at the same time. And, you know, given all the practice that you do and the meditation and everything, it just can happen from time to time when you're doing a lot of meditation or a lot of processing. I noticed that like when I sit down and do a lot of meditation, like over a couple of weeks, like within a few weeks, I'll even start getting like a little bit of a shake. And it's usually with really intense meditation. You know, they're very peaceful, but then it wreaks a little bit of havoc on the body afterwards. And so if I use the jasmine, it will take it out like within like a day.
And is that inhalation or internal?
Yeah, just inhalation, or sometimes I put like several drops on my wrist just so I can walk around and inhale it. But try, you know, maybe putting a drop or two on your wrist, but let's see if you have a little bottle somewhere. I'm sure like in the last few months, I think it's been in something. And so we'll figure out what class it was in and send you an email just so you can go and find it in one of your kits.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And there any oils that I shouldn't use if I start on a antihypertensive? Or are they all compatible?
Cinnamon will elevate your blood pressure a bit.
Yeah, I haven't used it for that reason.
Yeah, but 5 or 10 beats for like maybe a couple hours. The herb golden seal will elevate it as well. Trying to think of what else would do it. I mean, if you're going crazy with sage, it might sage or hyssop, it might raise it up by maybe 5 beats or so, but it shouldn't be very much.
Okay.
And so probably the big one to stay away from is like cinnamon, savory, probably those two.
Okay, no worries there.
Yeah.
So the Gotu Kola and the Arjuna are still fine to use?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then someone did post the jasmine ointment was in one of our classes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you had the ointment, you could use the ointment. I don't remember what class that was.
It was in the immune support. course.
The
like
immune
when we did
course.
I think it was regeneration.
Regeneration of the immune class.
Yeah.
It was April 23rd, 24th.
And was there anything since then that we had a small little bottle of jasmine in? Do you know, Letty?
No, that's the only one that I was.
That
gonna
jumps
pick up
out.
this class.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks for being Johnny on the spot there.
I tell you, we have a whole team in here on this spot, so great job, everyone. Thanks, guys. And then go ahead, Sonia, then Megan.
Hey, Sonia.
I'm really confused about what's happening this weekend because the ticket times and events don't match on the websites and what's being sent out, and I don't.
When it's posted on our site, it's Central Time, and when it's on the Astara site, it's Pacific Time. So they're the same times, it's just different time zones.
You said on the.
So on the Plant Prana site, we have them all posted Central Time. And then if you're on the Astara events page, for the 2 events on Astara, those are posted in Pacific Time. So there'll be a 2-hour difference look.
Mm-hmm. But it's the same time.
So I got stuff from Astara that is conflicting with.
But the times are just different time zones. It's the same time, it's just different time zones.
Because Greg's doing all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and were there any prices on? You know, it says on the Astara that it's listed in their shop section, and they're not in there. You know, they're not on the website.
Okay, I did post in our newsletter for you. So if you go, do you get our weekly newsletter?
Yeah, and it says Astara will be posted on its website shortly, and it's not.
How about this, Sonia? I'll give you I'll just email you all
Yeah.
the different links for yourself. That way it'll be more clear. Because I have access to, I have links to all of them. And if it's more easier for me, just send them to you. I'll just make a note and I'll do that for you.
Okay, and I'm not getting any reset stuff at my email for the Plant Prana site.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going, but it
Yeah.
hasn't come to me.
Yeah.
We'll talk to our web person again about it and we'll see what we can figure out for you.
Okay.
Can you lessen the suppression on your email?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. We'll work it out with our detail person. So.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for you.
It isn't, there's not a maximum of, I don't know what those terms mean. I'm not tech.
That's okay. That's okay. We'll get it figured out for you.
And then go ahead, Megan.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, Greg.
Hee
I have been working that new class a lot, mystical
Which one? Which one?
foundations of mystical healing.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one I taught there. Yeah, duh.
It's okay. You've been writing. You've been writing.
Yeah.
Ready for that book anytime.
End of April. It will be out in the end of April.
Yay. So I was telling you how I needed to do some healing on childbirth trauma. And I've
Yes.
done that process probably 4 times with that. You said it was like when I felt like blissful, when I thought about it, that would sort of signify it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting to that state, but I'm having trouble, like, I'm trying to bring up those feelings like fear and pain and all that so that I can like get it to the surface, get it healed. And I just,
Yeah, you actually don't need to really recall the pain and everything. Just keep observing the situation. And you know, the thing that happens, like when you do the process out of that class, is the pain and the emotional intensity will actually diminish, but the last thing to go is still like some like physiological responses, and then things that would get triggered like in the mind to like stimulate like almost like an instinctive response in the mind. And so if you're having a hard time pulling up the intensity or the pain, that's good. It's in that means it's in process. Like
Yeah.
you know, if it started off that way, it's like, well, you know, maybe you're a little numb to it and checked out a little bit, but you know, even as you go through and do it, it will just feel like it floats away. But you know, that was an intense thing that you were talking about, and that the intensity is diminished and the pain is diminished. Just keep working that for a bit, and at some point, it should reach that state. You know,
Okay.
Sometimes when it's you know, I have like an accident that I do that for, you know, back in the day. You know, it was a long time ago. It was like 30 something years ago. And you know, I don't work it all the time, but when I sit and work it, I was like, oh boy, I really got it. And then like a couple of months goes by and I go, let me go back and visit that again. There's still something there. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and I think it's like the more intense the pain was at the time, like a lot of times, like greater amount of time it takes to break it down, but it's moving, you know, and I think for you, that's all signs that it's moving. And you know, that you're not feeling the pain and everything, or the intensity is good. And a lot of times that's where we'd go, oh, that's good, but keep
Yeah.
pushing deeper, because there's
Okay.
usually more things there. And you know, one of the things that you can do is we didn't really discuss this in the class. We were going to discuss it in the study group this coming up weekend. But basically what I'll have you do is, you know how like you think of the external situation.
Mhm.
So part of what when I'm teaching the ministers for Astara and things like this, I have them do this thing where you're doing kind of like how you would do chakra breathing, you know, how like we do the patterns in the classes, and you're inhaling with your awareness on your heart. And then on a deeper level, I would have them visualize like white light coming in and then dirty gray leaving, right?
Yeah.
It's a way to kind of clean up the area. But you're also training your energy body, like, okay, bring energy in and then have energy go out. So at first it's a cleansing effect. But in this practice, like what we're talking about, you focus on a subject, on a time, an event, a situation, and as you look at it, you're as you're inhaling, you're visualizing the event, and you're inhaling it into the heart, and then as you exhale, it's like you're not exhaling dirty energy to it. You're just connecting to it. Like, so you're inhaling, coming in, exhaling, going out, inhaling,
Okay.
coming in, exhaling, going out. Do that several times, right? Several
Okay.
times. Then after you've done that, part of what you want to do is you want to be able to increase the potential for your mind to process it. Because a lot of times what happens is we let it go emotionally, but mentally it's in the maze. You know what I mean? It's gotten in there somewhere, and we got to unwind that, right?
Mhm.
And so the breathing with the heart, that amplifies your ability to release it emotionally. But after you've done that several times, move your awareness to the back heart between the shoulder blades and keep looking at that situation. And so there you're transmitting things more emotionally, but at that point, the back heart helps move it to the mind or the brain so that the mind can anchor onto it and process it. And a lot of times when we're having a hard time like letting go of a trauma, it's like the mind's being affected, but at the same time, it's like the mind doesn't even know that it's there. Like it's like, you know, if you were walking around in the dark and somebody just kept walking up behind you and hitting you, and you turn around and nobody's there, it's like, that's what kind of trauma does to the mind a little bit. You know, it's like it doesn't see it coming. And then when it happens, you get triggered a little bit, then you kind of do that thing where you go, okay, what is this? Let's make sense out of it. Let's assign it something that's going on now so that I make sense out of this and maybe diminish it the next time, right? When
Yeah.
sometimes it's just these old traumas, right? So you breathe back and forth and then get it to the back part and then just sit with it in the back heart for a little bit.
Okay.
And then do that for a little while. And after a little while, I'll teach you the next step, but even that is going to be a little bit congesting to the heart.
Yeah.
And so be sure to do it with oils because the oils will keep it moving. Where
Yeah.
when I first did that technique many years ago, we didn't do it with oils. We would do it and then we would burn like incense or burn some, like, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like sage or something. We'd burn some sage to try to clean that up. And then we took to like taking a stone and rubbing it on the chest, basically starting to do cleansing.
Yeah.
The oils do it so much easier. So like just do it with the oil. If you want to sweep it a little bit, you can afterwards, but usually the oils will clean it up. The Violet Healer out of that class would probably be your best bet, or gold.
Okay.
Yeah. But do that for a little bit and see how that treats you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And Megan, are you still there?
Yeah.
So with that, I'm just curious, so you're doing that process, but when you step away from that process, how are you feeling during the day, during the week? How are you feeling when you're doing stuff?
So the claustrophobia is still really bad. And I don't know if it's because I'm bringing up more trauma as I'm working on so much stuff. But it's been pretty bad lately. I don't know.
Kind of flared up a little bit.
Maybe a bit, not a ton, but a bit. The next thing that came to my mind, because I started to think, well, have other things made me feel trapped and out of control or in pain? And the pandemic then came to my mind, and I wondered if I need to do healing with that, because I felt like I couldn't take my kids anywhere, even the jungle gyms were closed.
It's probably good for all of us, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this. It's hard because it's just been emotionally frustrating because I just want to find one thing that works so I can keep doing it. But if something works, it only works a couple times, it improves, and then it doesn't work like that technique. It doesn't make a difference anymore. And so I'm just why is this so hard? It's really confusing to me.
Maybe when it's coming up, see if you think that, is it times where you might feel like there's a sense of a potential for pain or failure or things not working out, something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And just pay attention and see if there's a little bit of that, because when we've had events like what you've gone through, there starts to be these protective mechanisms that try to avoid that kind of scenario again. I mean, they don't sit and think it out don't have babies anymore. It's because you were talking about giving birth. It's more don't get in that much pain. Don't be out of control. Don't lose your control in any given situation. It starts to be these really primal unconscious drives that are not in your normal everyday mind, but your body is jumping on the
that's the description of it is I need to be in control. So that's why anytime anything is mechanical, I know that I can't control it. I can't control an elevator door. So I immediately go to well, I'm not getting in something that I can't control myself. And kids, I lost all autonomy, freedom, ability to just go to the grocery store without a half an hour of prep. Kids start screaming in the store. I have to abandon my grocery cart and leave. And there's just instant no control that. The childbirth was just the beginning of so many examples of no control.
And I think I remember at one point you got Embrit.
Yeah.
Try doing the body awareness and the external event also with the Ambrit.
Okay,
Just like how you're doing with the colored oil,
colored blends.
violet healer, orange healer, all that. Try
Yeah.
doing the same thing, but with Ambret.
okay.
Yeah.
Love Ambret.
Really feel it in your body, and then go to the event, and then almost even a deeper emphasis of feeling it in the body more than the event itself. But like you're almost kind of going to the event to like kind of trigger a response in the body, and then go back to the body to calm it down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try
with the
that.
childbirth, I started out like doing like the uterus and the, reproductive organs, but that's not where I actually felt the issue. Like it just felt like it was congested down there, but actually I felt like when I thought about that experience, I felt it more like in the solar plexus. So then I went to the solar plexus instead.
Just think of the birthing process itself. Like
Yeah.
like do that, and then just like where do you feel it in your body, and you're almost looking for just like little areas in your body that like tense up or get a little rigid or start to like try to like tense up to like protect your body.
Yeah, that's what I mean. by,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's where I felt
Perfect.
it with the solar
Okay.
plexus when I recall. So.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and it's shrinking. Like the area that I feel tense is like it's shrinking. Like there's less of it. I'm trying to look for it. So it's all like moving and improving. But
Okay.
I'll try that.
Yeah, let's see. Like, keep doing it, and then also integrate the Ambret in it, and let's see how that goes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Vitri, then David and Jody.
Hey, Vitri.
Hey Greg, can you
Hey,
hear
hey.
me?
Yeah. How are you?
Okay, good. I'm good, thanks. I have a question for myself.
Yes.
So I don't know whether you remember, I've been having leg issues.
Yes.
The left leg has some nerve pain and the right leg is more of muscle pain.
Okay.
But anyway, so I am scheduled to have a surgery done on my spine, especially because of the left leg
Right.
issue.
So they're doing a laminectomy or a fusion,
Yes.
or what? Laminectomy.
Laminectomy
Okay.
on the thoracic,
Right.
and it's the T4, T5 area.
Right.
So
Wow,
like,
that's kind of high.
that's the back heart, is that right?
Yeah,
kind of
it's
around
like
that area.
kind of towards the bottom of the shoulder blades, still in between the shoulder blades, like not below the shoulder blades, but like on the bottom portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether you have any suggestions before the surgery and after the surgery.
Okay, so anything you're doing two days before the surgery, I would stop everything.
Okay.
But prior, I would do galbanum and black cumin. I even like to do a little like blue healer or yarrow or German chamomile on the surgery site itself. Just to keep reducing inflammation, keep everything moving, clean up the metabolic waste in the area, all those kinds of things. Calm down the sensory nerves. And then that surgery is a pretty quick recovery rate. Like if I remember right, it's a little tiny hole. It's not usually very big. And so afterwards, I mean, I usually say, because of the surgery and everything, don't put anything on it until it closes. Like if it was an open wound, I would say just dump a bunch of helichrysum all over it. It will make it bind faster. But, it's a surgery site. They went deep, and we don't want to freak out the doctor. And so, like, they're trying to control the scene. So I usually say, like, just wait until the wound closes. And then still put helichrysum on it just to reduce the fascial lesion, or it's what they call scar tissue. Like it's just like fascial, like it's like a spasm, but in the fascia.
Okay.
And that'll cut down your physical therapy time. It will cut down them having to do friction massage and all that kind of thing. And it makes that scar just nice and smooth and supple, and it's nice, and it reduces the pain and the inflammation. And then I just go back to the galbanum, the black cumin, and the blue healer or yarrow or German chamomile, like in a little bit of a liniment or ointment on the area, and then rotate putting on the helichrysum, and that's pretty solid. That will reduce pain, reduce inflammation, reduce the scar tissue. The galbanum will make your body tolerate the pain much better, and it takes like a kind of tension out of your body that comes with like pain and surgery and injuries and things like that. And the black cumin, again, reduces the inflammation. It will reduce any kind of internal scarring and definitely stimulates the healing process and is very anti-inflammatory. Sometimes with spinal stuff, I don't even know that they give you painkillers for that. I think they just tell you ibuprofen.
It looks like they will, because I had to sign 4 pages of this opioid usage.
Okay, so they are. So the thing with the opioids is it's going to cause constipation. And so, you could just use ginger, which is a very good, just digestive, like tonic / stimulant. Or let me see what else can work for. Yeah. Like rosemary, verbena, terebinth, lemongrass, all of that should be helpful for the constipation.
And that's ingesting?
Yeah, that will have to be ingested.
Okay.
Yeah, not tons, like a couple of drops, but I'd probably go the rosemary verbena route after the surgery, but any of it will work.
Okay, I have that. Okay, so prior to the surgery, so like now I can apply galbanum and blue healer on the area? Is that what you're
You
saying?
apply blue healer to the area. Galbanum, you can just put on your wrist, or you can just do like maybe 20-25 inhalations. I actually like putting it either on the wrist or taking a few drops internally. Just because it seems to have a deeper impact for like a physical pain syndrome. And then I would do black cumin as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I take that regular. The
Yeah,
black cumin.
perfect. Then you're doing all the right stuff. And again, rehab for that one is usually not too bad, and you're really just trying to get out of pain kind of quickly, and you don't quite have the issue like they do, like if they're doing like a hip replacement or something, but I would just like maybe go around the house, move everything up a little bit higher so you don't have to do a lot of bending right off the bat. And those aprons that you get at like the hardware store, like Lowe's or something, where it's like an apron you put around, it's got little pockets in it, like for nails and screws and all that kind of stuff. Get that, keep your phone, like your tablet, like all the things that you kind of use like during the day, so that you don't have to keep getting up and walking over to pick something up or bending over and everything. Just for like a week or two. Like, and then after that, you'll be fine. But just make yourself comfortable. Like I started having patients do that with hip replacements, boys, like 20 years ago or something. And it was, all the therapy, they would come back and go, that England thing was amazing. It's just make yourself cozy and comfortable. Like, you went through a surgery, let your body just totally let go and relax.
Okay. That sounds good. Do you think there's any energetic component to this?
As far as the like low back stuff, this happens. Yeah. I wouldn't read a whole lot into it.
Okay.
I mean, As far as spinal stuff goes, like the neck and the low back are usually the things that kind of go first, but you're up in like T5, T6. That was probably some old injury. Like, honestly, it was probably some that you might not even have registered it as an injury, like, and it could have been like a very long time ago. And just over the years, it just slowly kind of crept up to you. Given that spot, were you ever in a car accident?
I don't think so, but I did fall one time on concrete. I slept
Yeah.
on ice.
Yeah,
And
it
it was
probably
a hard impact. Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably it. Like soon as that happens, like, because I've had a bunch of falls and things. And it was all in my youth. And as I got older, those are all the areas that I struggle with pain syndromes, like a bit of arthritis, or the areas bone on bone, or something like that. And it throws that area in spasm. And if we could go back in time and undo the spasm, we'd reduce it. But a decade goes by, 2 decades goes by, and it just turns into these little weird issues like that. You can
Yeah,
always clean things up, but it's usually the result of an injury.
Okay. Yeah, according to the MRI, there's severe calcification, and so it's impinging on the spinal cord.
Yeah.
So there's no space around the spinal cord.
Yeah. That was probably an injury. That sounds like an injury to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, so they're going to clean that up and do the laminectomy, and you should feel a lot of relief afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah. When is the surgery? I'm just curious.
2/22.
2/22.
February 22nd.
Yeah, couple weeks.
Yeah.
What's today? The 7th. So, couple weeks and a day.
Yeah. 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Keep us posted on that. Just let us know how things are going, and before and after and all that. And
Okay. I will do that. Thank you, Greg.
you're so welcome. Good luck with that. Tell Paul hi for
Thank
me.
you. I will. Thank you.
And then go ahead, David and Jody.
Hey, David. Hey, Jody.
Actually, yeah, you got both of us this time.
Hey.
I'm going to do this. I wanted to tell you, first of all, the Phoenix program, I was very excited for it. And I went to work this week. There were some issues that came up, of course, and I slept before having conversations. I was able to sleep the night before. I have no tension interacting with this person that I used to.
Oh, good.
Oh my goodness. Seriously, I was like, I would like to tell the world. It is. That is how. Is it? I should know. Like, what
I know.
you and then LaRue going the two.
I know, huh?
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. I'm human. Like
It's mind-boggling how much we're impacted by the connections with people, sometimes that either we don't even really know that well, or that we really don't care for, or or it could be somebody that's close to us, but they're super stressed out or whatever. And it's a funny thing that students will have like a partner or a mate or something that is not into any of these things, and we do, they'll do the first part of the Phoenix technique, and they usually, come back and tell me a story afterwards, and they're like, my husband, my wife, whatever. It's usually the husband is going through and doing this process, and they think it's all a bit ridiculous, but in the middle of it, they go, man, this feels good. Because even if we're not aware of it, it's still happening. Like, it's there. It's just we're not super aware of it. It's like this invisible world that's going on around us all the time. And the ability to go through and clean up those connections, it really allows for different behaviors, different reactions. It allows you to step away from things. It allows you to be different because you're not managing all that energy or emotion or whatever you want to call it. You're not managing it anymore. You're not having to deal with the past and the current situation. It just makes it about the current situation, and it could be a real game changer. A real game changer.
It is. There's like no.
Yeah.
So I just thank you.
Good
And
for
then-
you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes me happy.
Oh
Good,
my
good, good.
goodness. Yeah, I'm just so happy. And then I just recommend I get inflammation by my kneecap on my left knee. And I just wondered what you recommend.
On the more towards the inside or more towards the outer part of your leg? Like on which side of the knee is it?
The outer side.
The outer side. Do you wear high heels a lot?
I mean, 1 to 2 inches. That's
Okay. And in years past, have you worn like high heels a lot?
no, not, I mean, not more than 2 inches. I was never a high heel.
Okay. That's good. The issue that can happen, so it's a little puffiness, or is it just like aches?
It's a little puffy and
It's a little puffy.
I know I can't put any pressure. I can't sit on my knees. I can't, when I cross my knees too long, I think maybe that's what's doing it. It doesn't have much. It's so easily hurt.
Okay. And has it ever been x-rayed?
I think so. I think they told me that there's not enough. They told me 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I'd need a replacement because there's not.
Like it's thinning cartilage.
Yeah, there's nothing in between.
So, because that's what I was trying to assess, like either there's like thinning cartilage or a tear in the cartilage, or you could have iliotibial band syndrome, which is a big tendon that runs down the side of the leg. And athletes are prone to it, especially like skiing, running, tennis, cycling, things like that. But women are a little bit more prone to it than men, just because the pelvic bones are, a different shape for childbirth. So the hips are a little bit wider. That makes that come in at a bigger angle and can cause a bit of tendonitis down in that area. And so that sounds like a cartilage issue, though. So, this is what I would do. I would rotate a couple of things. I would rotate, there's a blend called Joint Relief, and I would do it in an ointment or a liniment, and rub it. Ointment would probably be best, but rub it on that knee like daily. Like it could be the end of the day, it doesn't matter, but you're going to stimulate blood going into the area and then leaving the area. It's going to reduce some spasms and keep that area like well hydrated because of the blood flow. Anytime you have like thinning cartilage does not have, cartilage does not have its own blood supply. So it's like borrowing blood from the environment, from its surroundings. And so you want to increase blood into an area where the cartilage is compromised to keep it moist, because the more the cartilage dries out, the quicker it breaks down. And so you're wanting to hydrate that area quite often, right? So that blend Joint Relief was actually made for that same kind of issue, like, arthritic kind of conditions. I would use that, and I would rotate it also with German chamomile topically. Like, you could put like 4 or 5 drops in your hand with a little lotion or something, and then just rub it over the area. We can make it in an ointment, or you can make it in an ointment, if you already have it. I usually put about 30 drops per ounce of the carrier. But if you're just making it in your hand, put like 5-6 drops, a couple pumps of like lotion or a little bit of massage oil, rub it together, and then just cover the knee. And that probably will German chamomile reduces inflammation and helps to disperse the fluid in the area so that the lymphatic system can pick it up and get rid of it. It will reduce some of the pain. It will clean up some of the metabolic waste, and then rotating it with the joint relief will increase blood flow and circulation to the area, reduce spasms, stimulate lymphatic movement, all those kinds of things. And so the combination of those two should bring you some relief.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And if you have questions about that, let us know, either here or shoot us an email or something, but that should bring you some relief.
Wonderful. And then I think David, no, thank you.
Hey, David.
I am still formulating. I do have one really quick one. You suggest coffee, baths, how often? And if I don't get a chance to take a bath, can I just put drops on my skin and rub it in?
Yeah, like you can, at least a couple of times a week, but you got to also work it in with your schedule and everything. If you're just trying to decongest, like this is what I do. Put, like you see here on the thumb web,
Yes.
put a drop or two on each thumb web, and then that same spot between your big toe and the second toe, like on the top of your foot.
Yep.
Put it in there, and then maybe a little bit on the low back area opposite your navel, that Mingmen area.
Yes.
Hit those spots and call it good.
Oh, great. Okay, super. Thank you, Greg.
You're so welcome.
I've got amazing stories for you too. Well,
Oh, good. I love amazing stories.
all right, I'll just tell you one right now, real quick.
Sure.
So I was using I decided to experiment with frankincense. I put it on the top of my head with the chakra root cleanser.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, my dreams were just incredible. I
Oh,
went
good.
of dreams that I've never, or reality probably, that I've never been to. It was so cool. And then that's one I'll share with you right now. The other ones I'll save for another.
Okay. That chakra root cleanser is, it's a lymphatic cleanser. It cleans part of the aura. It's a deep lymphatic stimulant. There's all these things, but it's blended to, there's actually 72 names of Metatron, and it's one of the names of Metatron.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I never called it by that name, but
Interesting.
it's got some juice. Like there's been several meditation groups where they would get together and they would put it on their heart and their crown, and kind of like what you were doing, and they would do it before their meditation. And
Yes.
yeah. I never thought about it for that application, but like it. I didn't really think about it for a meditation thing. And so when they told me that, like I just started inhaling it before meditation, man, I would blast off every time.
Uh-huh. So I wanted to share that. Thank you so much for.
You're so welcome.
Would you again just repeat where you said to apply the coffee?
The thumb whips, like right here, how like you would pinch that spot, like so there. And then that same corresponding spot, but on your foot. So it would be on the top of your foot between the first big toe and the second big toe. Just kind of rub it in that little area on both sides. And then your low back area opposite your navel, your Mingmen area.
And then go ahead, Troy.
Hey, Greg.
Hey.
Hey, I forgot to ask earlier, are y'all going to put the chakra root cleanser bar back on the site at some point?
The person that we were having the bars made, I had to let go.
Oh, okay.
And so we played around with a couple other, like me making the soap, but it was going to be more glycerin based, where that one was more based, like she made it with lye and all that, right? And so I don't have the soap skill sets to do it. And so we'll eventually have it made again. I have to find some of my old soap makers. I used to have a bunch of old soap makers I used to work with a long time ago, and I just fell out of contact. So it's on my to-do list to hook up with them again. But yeah.
Cool. No worries.
Yeah, it was just time for for us to go our separate ways.
Yeah. So the parsley soap is just what's left in stock.
It's what's left in stock, but we're actively trying to pull that together to have that up and going again.
Okay, groovy. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So there's a
Appreciate
few things that I would actually, you know, I would make the formulas and then have the other person make the soap. For the few things that I had like outsourced, and yeah, it's the only thing we're having an issue with. So I probably will get to where I make it myself, but I have to set up some things around here a little bit better, because I mean I loved what she did. Like I thought she made great soap, and but there's lots of good soap makers out there. Like even who's that, Susan in your area? She makes really good soap.
She does.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome.
And just last question, and then we'll get into the deeper practice. Someone's, just making sure. I was curious about any insight Greg can share about Alemi oil. Are there any spiritual properties for this plant?
Yeah, in fact, I think we even had it in the daily dose. Let me look up what I wrote there. But I do remember writing something, but give me just a sec here. Let me. Yeah, so it can help to regulate the Mingmen and basic chakras. Good for soothing unconscious feelings. You know, esoterically, they would say, you know, there's that saying, as above, so below. Alemi is usually aligned with that. You know, it's very good for treating things that are deep in our unconscious that we're not super aware of. But I would say also that, like, trying to think of like how to describe this. Like, you know how like sometimes you're like in meditation or prayer or you know, mindful meditation or just observing something, you get so far and you kind of hit this like little bit of a wall where you're like, you have expansion, but it's about as far as you can go, right? There's a couple of things that will push you through that little like slowing down or that little wall that you bump up against. And one of them is Alemi, one is Cape Snowbush, and the other one is Cypress. And it will kind of help, like you could almost say with like transitions from like your normal everyday mind to slipping into a deeper, more meditative mind, intuitive mind. You know, it doesn't make you intuitive, but like if you're having a hard time shifting from like, okay, I've been working on the computer all day and now I got to drop that and meditate or to be more clairvoyant or intuitive or something like that, you know, you're switching and you're using different parts of your brain. Alemi can help you get there faster, if that makes sense. And should I just send you the list of?
Robert got it posted.
Okay, yeah, and when we posted the thing that we had done on the Daily Dose, and thank you, Robert. Yeah, Letty and Robert are always rocking it.
And then go ahead, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Did you mean to unmute yourself? Maybe not.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to it. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm okay. Yeah, but since I'm here and
Yes, I think you have an unconscious question.
yeah. Well, no, it's actually been on my mind, actually, two things. One, with the Phoenix technique, I agree with what was said earlier, but I found that it's taking me to a place that seems to start uncovering some like really hidden deep childhood trauma, but I can't I can feel it, I can everything, but I can't get it to the surface. So is there something else that could, or is it just a matter of time and you just gotta keep
No,
trying?
let's, I can switch gears and we can actually try addressing that right now. Like, let's, for the practice, I was going to do something else, but when in Rome, let's just go ahead and jump on this. Do you happen to have lemongrass?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so everybody, if you have lemongrass, pull out lemongrass. If you don't, marjoram. And then if you don't have marjoram, then do like tarragon or anise. ANS support, something like of that nature. If you don't have any of those, let us know. We'll try to find something different. But so basically, we're going to do that thing where we go back and forth between the front heart, back heart, forehead, back head, and then reverse it. Because what you're doing is, like, when you're going front heart, back heart, forehead, back head, you're working the sympathetic part of the nervous system. And then when you reverse it, you're working the parasympathetic. And by going back and forth, you actually start to balance out the autonomic nervous system. So you're balancing fight, flight with rest and repair. And when you do that, you naturally begin to release trauma. Like, so a lot of times what happens when we have like traumatic, like memories or feelings come up, but we're having a hard time releasing it. It's not that emotionally, mentally, we don't want to release it. It's that your nervous system is just not in a place to where it can release. And trauma will put you in more of a fight flight, even if it's you re-experiencing something from the past. So right off the bat, even though the event might have happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it is, just the recalling of that event puts you a little bit more in fight flight than it does in rest and repair. And so for you to release the trauma, you have to kind of shift a little bit more into rest and repair. So I usually try not to shove the person so much into rest and repair where they get really lethargic and everything. I try to just get them back to a place of where the nervous system is balanced. And then the release will usually happen in your sleep, like while you're dreaming, sleeping, early morning when you're kind of in those deeper states, you'll release some of it. So you might remember it, but then the effects in your physiology and in your mind have diminished. And so you could do this process daily. And this will be for big traumas, but sometimes we have these like little, like I call them micro traumas, where things happened that maybe hurt your feelings and you didn't register it as like, that hurt my feelings. But it hurt your feelings and it affected the psyche, it affected your energy body, but you don't really recognize it or realize that it hurt your feelings. And so even those things will start kind of popping up and coming out. And usually there's not a lot of memory that comes with it. It's just like this like feeling of release, right? So basically you'll take the lemongrass, and if you have something in particular, like you say, like, okay, I had this particular incident happen, or we had this argument, or there was this car accident, or whatever it is, you can contemplate it for a moment and, kind of tap into it. But then after, maybe 60 seconds, you can let the imagery go and then begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the front heart, the center of your chest. And then move your awareness to the back heart. Okay, so just with that right there, the front heart going to the back heart, it's like what I was saying to Megan a little bit earlier. At this point, your mind is able to anchor on to the event. Part of what happens sometimes is we feel something, we have flashes of the information, but the mind hasn't like completely processed it. Like it's like it's made an acquaintance with it, but it doesn't really know it well enough to like process it. And so at this point, the mind is able to anchor onto this. And then the next point where you go forehead and back head is when you break down the thought form, right? So by the time you go front heart, back heart, forehead, back head, you are starting to release whatever's coming up out through the top of your head, and it just releases up and out, right? So you've done front heart, back heart. So now go to the forehead. You're inhaling with your awareness on the forehead. And then move your awareness to the back head. Taking long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back head. Yeah, it doesn't matter about the answer. And then just let go. Just be still for a second. Just let things release. And then begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on your back head, right where you left off. Your awareness is on your back head. Then move your awareness to the forehead. The back heart, the area between your shoulder blades. And then your front heart. And then just be still for a moment. Just be still. And then begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the front heart. How's this felt? It feels so nice. Huh? Yeah. I know. We might have lost Samantha. The back heart. The awareness is on your back heart between the shoulder blades. And your forehead. Your awareness is on the forehead. And then the back head. Your awareness is on your back head. Awareness is on your back head. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Just let go. Let go of everything. Just let go. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on the back head. your forehead. Your awareness is on your forehead. Your back heart. Your awareness is on your back heart. And then your front heart. And then just be still, be aware, keep your eyes closed. Just be aware of your body. Just be still. If an image bubbles up or an old thought or memory, or like as we were talking about at the beginning with Cindy, like if something kind of has come up even like a few days ago or a week ago, recall the situation at this point because you're in a place where it's a little bit easier to release, and still just continue to inhale the lemongrass as you observe the situation. This will help to maintain the balance in the nervous system as it comes up to allow you to release it. And then just be still. Hey, you guys. It was great seeing you guys. It was a little weird not being able to talk to anybody over the weekend doing the writing and stuff, but we're all back in track, and we have the study groups this weekend, both for Plant Prana and Astara. And the reason why we did it that way is it's Super Bowl weekend, and we figured we'd leave it so that we could still do something, but still leave you time if you do the Super Bowl and all that. So anyway, we have our study group tomorrow night for the Metatron class. So join us if you can, and hopefully we'll see you for one of the study groups over the weekend. So take care, you guys. We're going to be doing a star blessing if you want to come over with us right there. So